Yeah, how do you put someone in jail and you don't even name the clients? That sounds kind of insane. There was a lot of people that met with him and did business with him and traveled with him after he was arrested.
Last name, area codes, okay.
Who created this book?
Epstein.
We're so grateful to be joined by Jeffrey Epstein survivor, Annie Farmer. Annie, thank you so much for taking the time to come back on the show.
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related question.
Joe Rogan almost ended up pulled into Jeffrey Epstein's world. And the wild part is that Epstein was actually trying to reach him. Long before any files came out and exposed everything, Epstein was already surrounded by billionaires, government officials, tech giants, and major celebrities acting like he was untouchable. But Joe Rogan had a sense that something was off from the beginning and kept his distance.
People have an understanding of how things are really working than ever before.
Yeah.
Like this Epstein file thing, right? That was a big eye-opener for a lot of people. When you see how many people after 2008, after he was arrested, after he went to jail, were actively taking money from him. MIT took money from him and tried to hide it and said to make sure that any donations from Jeffrey are listed as anonymous. So
Wow.
you find out like people are like, they referred to him as Voldemort, like you couldn't say his name.
Wow.
There was a lot of people that met with him and did business with him and traveled with him after he was arrested, after he went to jail.
Do you spend a lot of time reading them?
No, I try not to. I try to have experts come on. I try to
And
read. You can't change it.
Yeah.
And it'll with your head.
From Epstein's secret black book to the stories about what went on inside his private jet, Rogan is now breaking down the parts of the files the FBI didn't cover up. And hearing him talk about it makes the whole situation feel even more unreal. On a recent episode of his show, Rogan explained that back in 2017, one of his guests, Lawrence Krauss, the theoretical physicist, tried to introduce him to Epstein. This matches the recent file release, too, which shows emails between Epstein and Krauss, where Epstein was clearly trying to get close to Rogan.
I'm in
How
the
many
files
people?
for not going.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm in the files for not going. Jeffrey Epstein was trying to meet with me.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah, and I was like, what?
I'm like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Aren't you
like,
glad?
Yeah, but I would have never went anyway. It's like, it's not even a possibility that I would ever went.
But did you-
especially after I Googled him. I was like, what the are you talking about? This was like 2017. One of my guests was trying to get me to meet him. I was like, you high? Like, what the are you talking about?
For what reason would you? What would be...
If I was a guy who was like sucking up to the rich and powerful, if I was really interested in hanging out with rich and powerful.
Epstein even emailed him saying, "It is wild like Damascus. How are things? I saw you did the Joe Rogan show. Can you introduce me? I think he's funny." Krauss reached out, but Rogan didn't want anything to do with it. Epstein pushed again, saying Rogan could have dinner with Woody Allen on Friday. Krauss later replied with, "Sorry about Rogan. So far, he seems more timid than I would have thought, trying to play it off like Rogan was nervous instead of simply avoiding trouble."
It seems very dark.
Very
because
dark.
it seems like it was this bizarre blackmail influence thing that was going on for a long
For
time.
so long.
A long time.
Through different administrations.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so unbelievable about it.
It's
how
dark.
long it was going on.
And all of this was happening while Epstein had already been convicted on serious charges. Yet he was still spending time with some of the most powerful people in the world and emailing names like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Prince Andrew, and even Jay-Z like nothing ever happened. Joe Rogan didn't hesitate when he sensed something was off. And the reason he caught it so fast was because Alex Jones had warned him long before any files ever came out. Somehow, Alex Jones knew what was happening on Epstein's island and on that private plane years before Epstein's conviction and years before anything was made public.
Just get real and
What
say,
do you, if I gun to your head, what do you think your best assessment of what Epstein, who was Epstein, who was he working for?
well, I don't know, right? So I'm just guessing. Everybody wants to say he was working for the Mossad. He very well could have been. He could have been working for the CIA. He could have been a guy who was on his own, but also working with them, right? Like a guy that they used, but they never fully endorsed.
Like an asset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy who could move money around.
Right.
He definitely...
Good at laundering money.
The moving money around stuff was very weird because he had money through no way that anybody could ever explain.
Yeah.
He had an enormous amount of money through no way that nobody could ever explain.
The only reason Joe managed to stay away from all of it was because Alex had already put him on game. Joe explained that years back, Alex Jones kept telling him there was something dark happening behind the scenes with Epstein. According to Joe, Alex wasn't talking about some regular rich people getaway. He believed Epstein's Island was a place where powerful figures were being trapped and used. Alex claimed Epstein was collecting blackmail material by bringing people out to the island and filming them in compromising situations. Whether people believed Alex at the time or not, his warnings look different now.
Last name, area codes, it's okay.
Who created this book?
Epstein himself.
This book was made by Epstein?
This is a video of an FBI sting operation with Jeffrey Epstein's former house manager and an undercover FBI employee from 2009. The Palm Beach house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, believes he is selling Epstein's address book to someone representing a lawyer of Epstein's victims.
You will see a lot of important people here.
He claims that the book contains contacts of powerful people, as well as Epstein's victims.
You know?
So those are mostly underage girls, those numbers?
They were very young.
A source familiar with the case confirmed the video shows the sting operation, which court documents show happened 2 years after the FBI demanded that Rodriguez turn over any Epstein documents.
By 2017, Epstein had already been convicted of assault, which made it even stranger that billionaires like Bill Gates were still meeting with him. That kind of connection says more than people are comfortable admitting. This is where things start feeling even darker, because the question becomes simple. Why was Epstein collecting blackmail in the first place? And how did he even get access to these powerful circles? You don't just become close friends with members of the Saudi royal family and the British royal family without and the fact that President Bill Clinton was photographed with Epstein only proves that Epstein wasn't just hanging around these circles. He was deeply embedded in them. Someone placed him there. And the real mystery is who. Joe Rogan believes it is very possible that Epstein was an asset working for a foreign government. According to him, Epstein's job was to collect blackmail material. Whoever he was working for was the one funding that billionaire lifestyle. The private jets, private islands, mansions, and high-level access didn't just come from nowhere. A lot of this was recorded in Epstein's secret black book. Jeffrey wrote down names, dates, phone numbers, and everyone who came to the island along with a list of victims. There was only one copy of that book in existence, and even after his conviction, it stayed missing for years. Then in 2009, the FBI found someone online claiming they had the book and were trying to sell it.
Congressman Massey and I went to the Department of Justice to read the unredacted Epstein files. We spent about 2 hours there, and we learned that 70 to 80% of the files are still redacted. In fact, there were 6 wealthy, powerful men that the DOJ hid for no apparent reason. When Congressman Massey and I pointed this out to the Department of Justice, they acknowledged their mistake, and now they have revealed the identity of these 6 powerful men. These men are Salvatore Navora, Zorab Mikoladze, Leopig Leonor, Nicola Caputa, Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem, CEO of Dubai Ports World, and billionaire businessman Leslie Wexner, who was labeled as a co-conspirator by the FBI.
They set up a sting operation, and the footage from that operation ended up being included in the latest file release. The 2009 footage shows Epstein's former Palm Beach house manager, Alfredo Rodriguez, trying to sell a small black book filled with addresses and phone numbers. He told the undercover agent that the book held names of powerful people connected to Epstein along with people who had been harmed by him. In that same recording, Rodriguez also claimed that Ghislaine Maxwell kept a secret database of women, allegedly including explicit material.
Yes, because
Just stunning that they've been able to hold it back for so long. It's really kind of amazing.
Yes.
Like when people say that people can't keep secrets, what the f are you talking about? Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, a bunch of these things are not like it's common knowledge, but we don't actually have the proof.
Right.
So the proof is there. I mean, there's lots of videos. Yeah, there's lots. I mean, the dude is like a mountain of like. Whenever they raided Epstein's place, there would have been like a mountain of evidence. Where is that mountain?
Right. What'd you do with it?
Yes. Like who took possession of the evidence?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Database has never been found. And even after Epstein's passing, Ghislaine has refused to cooperate with the FBI. It makes you wonder what she is protecting or who she might be afraid of. And the island wasn't the only place where this behavior was happening. Epstein's private jet, known as the Lolita Express, played a major role, too. According to multiple testimonies, Epstein would travel with women on the plane, keeping them close during flights.
Disturbing photos of the former prince, Andrew, to his alleged sharing of government documents with convicted offender Jeffrey Epstein. The fallout from the Epstein files once again putting the British royal family into turmoil. Andrew has denied all wrongdoing, but the pressure is now ramping up on the royals to do and say more about their disgraced relative.
The disturbing part is that everyone on board saw it. The pilots, the staff, even some of the passengers witnessed things right in front of them. Yet nobody spoke up. They kept quiet and acted like nothing was happening. The latest release of the Epstein files goes deeper into the plane's history, explaining how Epstein used it to move people around the country and overseas. The jet appears again and again in flight logs, connecting him to a long list of high-profile passengers. Just yesterday, 6 more billionaires connected to Jeffrey Epstein were finally named after the Department of Justice had been hiding their identities for years.
The Crown, under fire.
Charles, how long have you known about Andrew and Epstein?
From King Charles to Prince William, shouted at in Saudi Arabia.
To what extent do you think the royal family has done enough around the Andrew and Epstein issue?
ITV also capturing Queen Camilla getting tough questions too.
Do you have a message for Epstein's victims, Your Majesty?
We've never actually seen other members of the royal family heckled to the extent that we have in the last few.
These names were originally blacked out, and it took senators going directly to the DOJ and demanding transparency before anything was released. It makes you wonder how many more names are buried in those files and why the DOJ keeps acting so hesitant to pull the curtain back. One tweet summed it up perfectly, saying, "Instead of redacting the victims' names as they requested, the DOJ redacted the predators' names. They were supposed to protect victims, but they protected predators." Another tweet added, "I don't think the DOJ is concerned about protecting the victims. They are, however, very concerned about protecting some of the predators because they are high-ranking and wealthy people with political pull. It's the most ass-backwards and corrupt cover-up in history."
As her lawyer continues to press for clemency in exchange for her testimony, something President Trump has continually declined to rule out. How does this all make you feel?
It's honestly very disturbing to see these images of her and have her be looked at as someone who could potentially be providing any kind of information in this case. I mean, she has refused over and over to cooperate with the investigation. She's refused to have, she doesn't have any empathy or has not expressed any empathy or remorse to her victims. So I think it's highly problematic that anyone would consider negotiating with a serious criminal like this. And I think it would just really be indicative of guilt in some way, because we know that she is not a credible source of information.
Joe Rogan brought this up on his podcast, too. He pointed out how strange it is that no one from Epstein's client list is being charged. The names are public, the connections are clear, and the FBI reportedly has footage. Yet nothing is happening. According to him, the files we are seeing now, all 3 million of them, represent only about 20% of what the FBI actually holds. If they wanted to start making arrests, they have more than enough evidence, but nothing is moving. These documents sat untouched for almost 2 decades despite the FBI having full access. Epstein's Black Book was recovered back in 2009, but not a single person listed in it has been charged or even seriously questioned. People have started to wonder if the reason is because the individuals involved are simply too connected and too powerful for the system to go after. There have even been claims that Epstein was working with MSAD or other intelligence agencies using blackmail operations as part of a larger network. So far, though, there is no confirmed public evidence proving he was officially acting for any intelligence group. But with how much is still being kept in the dark, people are questioning everything.
I would like to answer your question, but on the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer this question and any related questions. My habeas petition is pending in the Southern District of New York. I therefore invoke my right to silence under the Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
Let the record reflect that Ms. Maxwell has invoked the Fifth Amendment against self-incrimination. Ms. Maxwell, please be very clear. Are you declining to answer the question put to you solely on the ground that you believe the answer will incriminate you?
I invoke my Fifth Amendment right to silence.
Those claims are still unproven, mostly circulating through media reports and online conversations, but they continue to pull more people into the spotlight. So far, the only real consequence anyone in Epstein's circle has faced is public pressure. Peter Mandelson, the UK ambassador to America, lost his position in September after newly released emails showed he had deeper ties to Epstein than he originally admitted. And then there is Prince Andrew. Virginia Roberts Giuffre alleged that she was brought into Epstein's world and told to be with Andrew when she was 17. Andrew has always denied it, but the fallout was heavy. His brother, King Charles, removed his honorary military titles and royal duties, and he stepped back from public life entirely. Epstein is gone, but Ghislaine Maxwell is still here, continuing to refuse any cooperation. Multiple victims have testified that she played a direct role in what happened and helped Epstein control every detail. Yet, even with all of that testimony, nothing major has shifted in her situation. It leaves people wondering how many secrets she is still keeping and who might be protected by her silence. If you want deeper breakdowns of the timelines, the documents, and what is confirmed versus what is still speculation, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications. I will keep laying out what the files actually show and cutting through the noise. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video, share it with someone who needs to see it, and let me know what you think. Do you believe this is a failure of the justice system, or is something bigger going on behind the scenes?
See you on the next.